Anita Brady, and I am the president of 123Print, an online destination for personalized, short-run printing for small businesses and consumers. Because the majority of our customers are women, we've developed an interview series called Small Business Success, the Female Perspective. Our goal is to help improve your business and your life by sharing the insights of other successful business women. And to do this, we have searched social networks, we've searched conferences, women's associations, looking for optimistic, energetic, and successful businesswomen who are excited to share what they have learned along their way in starting their own businesses. And today, I am happy to introduce you to Diane Myer. Diane is an award-winning advertising executive who's currently the CEO of her own business, I Create Results. I Create Results is an interactive marketing agency which Diane launched in 2010. Diane's career is impressive, and it's included working in corporate America, at MCI Communications, as well as working in digital media companies, small and large advertising agencies such as Ketchum and StudioCom. In her role as the CEO of her own business, Diane works on her business, growing her advertising agency, managing cash flow, operations, developing new business opportunities, inspiring her team, and really focusing on forming partnerships to develop more value and deliver more value to her clients. But because it is a small business, Diane also works in her business. She needs to deliver social media strategy and advertising ideas that create results for her clients. In addition, Diane is a national digital innovation and social media speaker. She teaches social media at local colleges in Atlanta and also at clients' offices. In just under 2.5 years, Diane has been able to start her business, build a national client base, add several employees, and she's doing all this while at the same time raising an 8-year-old boy and planning a wedding. I'm exhausted already. Thank you for joining us today, Diane.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So we really want to hear from you about your experience. First, tell me, what made you decide to start your own business after having a successful career in advertising and in corporate America?
It was one really defining moment, honestly, is having worked with large brands and large ad agencies. I watched a lot of ideas fall to the wayside that really could have been game changers for those clients. And then I started to volunteer and work outside of my actual job, 9 to 5, and working with small businesses. And I saw how much help they needed, and that they weren't given the value that the large clients and the big brands could receive. And they didn't know what they didn't know. They didn't have time to learn it, and they really needed someone to guide them. And they had a lot of ability to absorb more information and be interested in trying new ideas. So it was interesting and fun to be able to work with them, because it actually is very gratifying for someone to take one of your ideas and agree to try it out, implement it, and have it drive some real results and success for them. And you get to be a part of that. And it's not so much the big clients that matter. It's that you get to change the game for them. And that was a very addictive feeling. So I quit after a conference, a meeting in a conference room, actually, where we were arguing about a very silly topic that was going to go on Facebook. And I thought, I can't believe how much money this brand is paying to have this debate about, what we should put on the Facebook page. And I really felt that I needed to try something else and see if I could launch my own business.
And was it hard to take that first step and to just leave?
No, it wasn't. It was, I was at the point where I had been bitten by the bug, as they say. Other entrepreneurs call it that. And I really needed the time during the day to be able to work with these clients, and that my job was really getting in the way. And I definitely learned a lot of what I know how to do from that job, but I also was very passionate, and I really needed to take a chance. And I decided that I was going to follow that famous quote of, you're going to regret what you didn't do in life more than what you did do. So
that's great advice. Absolutely. As a startup, once you went out full time to do this, what were your biggest challenges?
Biggest challenges is I'm a right brain person. I'm from the creative field. I am not a left brain, detail, love Excel spreadsheets type. So it was a challenge, and sometimes still is, to make sure I balance my time every day between the creative side and the left brain, accounting, cash flow, business planning, people management, time management that goes into running a profitable business.
That's a great answer. How did you stay passionate and motivated as you started your business? Because there are typically so many obstacles, so many businesses go out of business. How were you able to continue to keep your motivation?
That's a great question. Not something people typically ask you. They typically ask you, how did you start your company? But I think that's the biggest factor in why a lot of them fail, because you tend to feel isolated and lonely. It's lonely at the top. You can't really communicate to your employees or your clients that you're having a bad day, because really nobody cares. So what I did is I went and started becoming a part of some of the networking groups that are in the city, and they have CEO roundtables where you can sit with other business leaders and kind of vent. You can talk about what's keeping you up at night. And they're all running their business, so they give you great advice and tips that way. And then I also hired a life/executive coach, and she's been very helpful and made a really big difference in keeping me motivated and focused on the big picture and the dream. So
I think that also is really good advice, because when you're doing it alone, sometimes you just need somebody to validate what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, can you share one piece of advice that you were given, that someone told you along the way that you said, this is really helpful and I take it to heart in my own business?
Yeah, there's one really good one. And fortunately, my family, I have a couple family members who had started their own businesses. And when I said I was doing this, my stepmother said, right out of the gate, hire a payroll company to handle your payroll for you. And I didn't understand what that meant. I had been an employee for so long, I didn't know what that meant. And about a year later, I had done it the hard way for a year. A year later, I finally signed up for paychecks. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, why didn't I do this sooner? This is so much easier. And I was just more apprehensive about all the things I didn't know. So I was really leery about signing contracts with things like that at first. And I really should have just taken that advice from day one. So.
Well, at least it paid off eventually, so that's good. Yeah. What would you say, as you look at your business, as you've grown, what was that one lesson that was just really hard to learn?
It's customer service. Even though I have a business to run, my customers need my attention. They want me in the meetings. They want me on the calls. And I have to make sure I'm communicating well with them so that they don't feel as though I'm not paying attention to their needs every day. And so that's a lesson that's a time management lesson. That's hard to learn. And, you have to make sure you have time in your day, not just for your accounting and your cash flow. You have to make sure you're spending the time with the relationships that you've created as well.
And that's great. One of the things I hear every day from women who are running their own businesses is that they talk about the constant struggle between balancing work and balancing life priorities, especially as a small businesswoman. And I'm wondering how you do that.
Maybe you should ask my son. I'm sure I don't do everything well, and I think the biggest thing I can say is I give myself permission to fail at some things, and I make sure I participate in his school events within reason. I don't set expectations on myself to be super mom and attending all the PTA events, But I also don't set the expectation at work that, I am 24/7 CEO. I'm offline after 6:30, and I spend, at least 2 hours in the evening available to him. And then on the weekends, he's the priority. And it is a balance, but I also think it's more of a mindset in that you need to make sure you're giving yourself permission and not trying to be mother of the year or CEO of the year, and not piling it on too much. I think women have a hard time saying no, and especially as a mom, you're judged and viewed by your peers as well as the other mothers. And I think just cut yourself some slack. Take care of you too. So it's hard to do sometimes, though.
And that is something that I hear a lot, that women have such a hard time to say, okay, at this point in time, I'm going to cut my email off, or I'm not going to look at my phone or answer my phone. And it really does seem something that's very hard for people to do, and it sounds like you've been able to get to that point, which is a great thing.
Yeah, it's challenging. I think the biggest point is to make sure you're also able to ask for help. I ask friends to help me often if I need to get to a meeting or something, and sometimes my child just comes with me, and he's had to put that suit on a couple times, and I brought him with me.
Well, with so much going on in your life, with your son, your business, what do you do in your downtime just for fun?
That's a great question. Honestly, I love going for a walk, getting out into the nature, disconnecting from electronics, letting go of that schedule, feeling like I need to be somewhere all the time. And I think it's really important that you incorporate that. So I love to go for a walk and get outside.
As we wrap up our conversation today, is there anything else you would like to share with our audience about your experience with your own business?
Yeah, one thing I thought was really important point to make was to make sure you use some of the free tools that are out there for you. There's a lot of great websites that have content, that have educational tools, and if you could subscribe to the theory that there's an app for that, just go Google it. So that's the best advice I could possibly give, is to know and understand that we're in an era now where people have already built that tool, and you shouldn't have to figure it out yourself, and to just explore how these tools can benefit you and save you time and reconnect to your life a little bit more. So.
Diane, this has been such an informative and fun interview. I really wish you all the best with your continued success with your business and with your life and with your upcoming wedding.
Great. Thank you for having me, Anita.
You're welcome. Thank you.
No problem.